Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 475 of NoDQ&A video, right here on NoDQ.com, the YouTube channel, and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Thank you guys for checking out NoDQ&A video, whether it's your 475th time or whether it's your first time. I appreciate the support from everybody, so thank you for checking out today's video. If you enjoy it, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. Got your questions here from spring.me/AaronRift. That is the place to submit questions. Got a lot of questions here to answer since this will be an extended edition of NoDQ&A video as I do every 25 videos. Let's get started now with the first one today from rgene7511813. Longtime watcher. Hey Aaron, do you think John Cena voices his opinions backstage? If so, why do you think he's not taken seriously? Well, from what I've heard over the years, John Cena has been vocal, and I'm sure that John Cena, like most people in WWE, they do from time to time express frustration. If they're not happy about a creative direction, they will say something. Some guys are intimidated by Vince McMahon, but some guys, especially guys at the top, they will butt heads with Vince. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, even if John Cena wants to turn heel, even if he's not happy playing the same character he's been playing for 10 years. First of all, John Cena is a contracted performer for WWE, so like most guys, he's making a good living and he is going to do his job, and sometimes he might not like his job, but he's still going to go out there and do it. And even if he does voice an opinion, at the end of the day, it's Vince McMahon's final decision. And you know, I'm sure John Cena has spoken out in the past, just like many people in WWE, but it's Vince's company, and at the end of the day, Vince makes the decision. So it's not a matter of him not being taken seriously. It's a matter of he can give his input, but it's not his call at the end of the day. And he is portraying a character, and he's doing a job, so he will say his piece, and then he'll continue doing what he needs to do. Alright, this one comes from MVTVR20. Hey Aaron, I'm wondering, when do you see John Cena finally retiring? I feel like he's trying to be a modern Hulk Hogan and stick around for decades on end. Please answer in video. Marshall from Iowa. Well, for guys like John Cena, wrestling is their life. That is what they do, and they will keep doing it for as long as their body will let them. A lot of guys don't really have anything else, and guys that do have something else, they do tend to step away. I mean, there are a few exceptions, guys like Chris Jericho, guys like The Rock that are able to move on to other things, but for most of the guys that are in WWE and guys that are in professional wrestling, that is their life. That is what they know how to do. And when it comes to John Cena, you know, he lives and breathes WWE, so I don't see him going away. He could suffer a severe injury, and let's not wish harm on John Cena, but one day he might get hurt, and at that point he'll decide to step away. But the thing is with John Cena, I think that he'll always be part of WWE in some fashion. He's one of those guys that I could see sticking around after retirement and having a backstage role in WWE. But as far as stepping away, I don't see John Cena just walking away from WWE and walking away from the wrestling industry. I think that it would take a serious injury or something like that for him to step away. It's going to be something that he has no control over. Alright, this one comes from WWE fan Dark Arrow. Hey Aaron, do you think that a pre-show match can make or break a pay-per-view? A good pre-show can get them hyped, but a bad one can kill them. I'm trying to think of examples. I think that sometimes there have been occurrences on pay-per-view where you've had an opening match or a pre-show match or whatever that was so bad that it did hurt the show. I can't really think of any examples off the top of my head. And you go back to Extreme Rules, and you had that WLC match, and you know, it was real goofy, but the crowd loved it. And you know, a pre-show match I don't think people take too seriously, but sometimes I think what hurts a show more than anything else is a match that people are expecting to be really good and falls flat. And sometimes those kind of matches can hurt a show. Or if you have the biggest match on the card take place earlier in the show, you know, the crowd gets emotionally drained, and then that hurts the rest of the show. So, you know, I really don't think the pre-show match, people have enough emotional investment in it for it to really damage the rest of the show. But I'm sure there have been times where this has happened in the past, and you know, you'd have to go way back years ago, maybe to an older WWF or WCW pay-per-view where you had something like that happen. Throw something out there if you can recall a match on a pay-per-view that either was the pre-show or open the show. Leave a comment on YouTube, and we'll mention that later. All right, this one comes from Sonic Jackson. Hey Aaron, when do you see AJ Lee returning, and how do you see her being booked? A feud with Paige seems to be the best bet. I get a lot of questions about AJ Lee when she is returning. She was originally advertised to be part of the UK tour, and obviously she's not part of that. So I think with her apparently getting married to CM Punk next month, she's going to be taking some more time off. Maybe we will see her again in July, or maybe in time for SummerSlam. Right now, it looks like they're going in a different direction with Paige and Alicia Fox. So an AJ Lee return doesn't appear to be in the cards right now, and who knows, maybe she will enjoy being away and she'll decide not to come back for a while. So there's really no way to know for sure what's going through her head, and you know, she might want to enjoy married life with CM Punk for a while before committing to a return. So at this point, it's looking like she's going to be gone for a little bit longer, and it could end up being much longer. So, I mean, nobody really knows but her. All right, this one comes from Yep1996. Hey Aaron, first time asker and fan of your videos. Thank you for that. Do you think that Evan Bourne will return to WWE? And if he does, do you think he will get a push? Please answer in video. Like the AJ Lee question, I've been getting questions about Evan Bourne for years now. When's he going to return? And I keep telling people, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Evan Bourne, why WWE hasn't brought him back, other than the fact that they are focusing on other young talent, and there's other people that they're pushing right now. I did hear something about him and Tyson Kidd possibly being a team and being brought in, and I think that would be a good way to utilize both of them and do something to boost the tag team division. So, you know, that would be a good way to bring them back. But at this point, I mean, nothing is set in stone, and maybe WWE will come up with something for him, but then again, maybe they won't, and maybe we've seen the last of Evan Bourne. And like I've said previous times that I've discussed this, the longer that he is away, I think the chances diminish that WWE will bring him back. All right, this one comes from Imperial90. Hey Aaron, greetings from Ireland. Love the show. Keep up the good work. In recent Daniel Bryan promos, he has not been up to the mark with quality mic skills. Do you think this will affect his career as a top champion? Please answer in video. I always felt that Daniel Bryan was a good promo, but not a great promo, and he's definitely not one of those guys that can take bad material and make it good. If Daniel Bryan is given bad material, it's just bad. And we saw that a few weeks ago during the angle with Kane. Daniel Bryan is a guy that needs good material, but when he is given something of quality, he can cut a great promo. So it's just a matter of having the right material to work with. And will it hurt his career? I mean, right now he's got the injury to deal with, but we'll see what happens when he comes back and how he's booked. I think he'll be fine as long as he is booked to look strong and they give him some decent material. I think he'll be fine. I don't think that it will hurt his career, the fact that he's not a top-level guy on the mic. All right, this one comes from Brian Mahoney 9. Hey, Aaron, big fan of your NoDQ&A videos. First-time question for you. Please answer in video. Do you think with Daniel Bryan injured, WWE's roster has been exposed as fairly weak with top talent? Yeah, I do think that it has hurt a little bit. First of all, CM Punk being gone and now Daniel Bryan being gone, their absences are definitely felt in WWE. But WWE has such a talented roster, and a lot of guys are being underutilized. So, it can very easily turn around. And what WWE needs to do right now is focus on the guys that can go. And obviously, they're doing that with the Shield, and Bray Wyatt's getting a lot of TV time, and give guys like Dolph Ziggler more TV time, and I think WWE will do just fine. But yeah, it has made an impact. Daniel Bryan not being around, and I will say, definitely with CM Punk being gone, it's been felt. His absence has been felt in WWE, at least for me personally. But I'm sure a lot of other people feel that way as well about CM Punk and Daniel Bryan as well, for that matter. All right, this one comes from Irish Fella. Hey Aaron, do you think it would be a good idea for WWE to do a tag team Money in the Bank match with 3 teams, since there's only one world title now? I think it has potential to be a great match and bring more interest to the tag team division. I actually think that that's a pretty good idea. I think with only one title right now, and who knows what's going to happen, maybe by the time Money in the Bank comes along, they'll split the titles again. That's certainly a possibility. But if you're only going to have one world title match, yeah, that would be interesting. A tag team Money in the Bank match would be something different, and you'd have 3 teams in there. It would kind of be like the old style TLC matches with the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian. So that would be very interesting. And the thing about those matches and in a tag team match, it would be very fast paced, and it would be a really good match, and it would be something different. So I'm certainly all for that, and I could also see them possibly doing a U.S. title or an IC title, Money in the Bank. But those titles don't even have much prestige at this point. I think I'd rather see a tag team Money in the Bank match just because it's something different. So yeah, I think that it would be a good idea to do it. Don't know if it's going to happen or not, but certainly would add interest to that Money in the Bank pay-per-view, no question. All right, this one comes from Wrestling Do 95. Yo, Aaron, what is your favorite match from CM Punk and WWE? Well, I think most people would say John Cena versus CM Punk. That was probably, I'd have to say that was the biggest CM Punk match in his WWE career, in his career period. You just had all the stars in line for that match. You had the perfect storyline. You had people wondering what was legit and what was work. And you had the right crowd. You had CM Punk in his hometown. So everything from the storyline to the crowd to the work in the ring between the two guys and the finish. I mean, it was just a perfect situation in WWE, and a type of scenario you just don't get that often. As far as maybe a second place goes, I would have to say CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam last year, and that's my personal bias because I was there at SummerSlam. But that was just a tremendous match, and really did a lot for that SummerSlam pay-per-view, and gave SummerSlam a big rebound in terms of quality, because a lot of those previous SummerSlams were lacking at Staples Center, and CM Punk and Brock Lesnar tore the house down. So that would be my number 2 for sure. All right, this one comes from Wrestling God 88. Hey Aaron, did we, the British crowd, put the recent week's Raw crowds to shame? Hi from the UK. All right, let me see how I can put this without offending too many people, because I know a lot of people from the UK watch this video. I thought they were a decent crowd. I didn't think that they were a great crowd, and here's why. And I think I've touched on this before. It seems to me like the British crowds and that crowd in London were more concerned with trying to get themselves over rather than just sit back and enjoy the show. For a lot of the matches, they appeared to be dead at times, and then they would cheer and react when there was something to chant or something that would get them noticed on television. And, it seems like sometimes they just chant things just for the sake of chanting them. Like when Bray Wyatt was doing his promo, the crowd actually started wutting him. And, I found that funny, because why are you wutting the guy? Normally, crowds do the what chant when they're bored why would you do that for a guy that you supposedly really like? So I didn't get that, and they just did all these different chants, and that's their style. And I mean, it's very entertaining. It adds to the show. It makes it more fun. But at times, I think it's just too much with the chants, and it just they do them just for the sake of doing them and chanting "This is awesome" at random times when it's not really all that awesome. But they just feel like chanting something. And speaking of the crowd from the UK, this one comes from everybody's favorite question submitter, Kayfabe Candy Ass. Would you say the US crowds are smarter than the UK crowds? He said it, not me. Since they knew better than to put over this sin-awful Adam Rose bullcrap. Well, I knew going in that they were going to react to Adam Rose because that's just how they are. They are a more hardcore audience than your typical US audience. You have a lot of smart fans, and I'm sure a lot of those fans watched NXT and were familiar with the Adam Rose character. With the US crowds, you tend to get your more casual fans that might not be familiar with an NXT character. And like I said, I knew they were going to do it because they like to chant. Anything that WWE does that has a catchphrase or, there's a song or whatever. I mean, the crowd was singing the friggin' Real Americans song. And, they were chanting Adam Rose during the John Cena Harper match. So, they were just trying to get themselves over and draw attention to themselves. I mean, that's what they do. And like I said, it's entertaining, not saying they're a bad crowd or anything, but, it is what it is. And, that's a big difference. I like the crowds that react to the storylines and the wrestling. And sometimes you get those really good crowds that, react to the moves, and you can tell they're into it, and they're clapping, and they're adding to the show. They're not trying to say, "Hey, look at me. We're a cool, smart group of fans." They don't do that. They just sit back and just participate as members of the audience and helping to advance the storylines. All right, this one comes from Big Red Texan 13. Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on RVD winning the Beat the Clock challenge for the IC title at Payback? I don't really think it matters who faces Bad News Barrett for the title at Payback, but I actually do think that RVD is a good choice because RVD is an established name, and part of the whole reasoning in bringing him back is that he can help elevate some of the younger talent. And I think it'll be a good match for the Payback pay-per-view. It's going to be in Chicago, so you're going to have that more hardcore audience that's going to be into RVD, and they'll be into Wade Barrett. So you should have an interesting crowd dynamic for that match. We'll see how the two of them work together in the ring. But yeah, I mean, at least from a crowd heat standpoint, it should be a good match. So we'll see what happens with it. And RVD's a good guy to help work with some of the younger talent, and I'm not expecting him to win the title or anything, but I do think that he'll be a good guy for Wade Barrett to possibly get a nice decisive win over at Payback. But we'll see. Maybe RVD will win the title. You never know. All right, that'll do it for this special extended edition of NoDQ&A video. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest regarding WWE Payback and TNA Slammiversary. And if you enjoyed this video, please share it Facebook and Twitter. Submit your questions, spring.me/AaronRift. And I will see you guys next time for another edition of NoDQ&A video.